Oh my god, this is my favorite episode of Season 4.
MasterCode, please try to contain yourself.
Screw you, Your Honor. It's been a whole season since we've seen an episode star my favorite mayor, and she's amazing here. This episode is an excellent way to start out the new year. It's written by Dave Polsky, but I swear to God, it might as well be written by Edgar Wright, because this may be the most tightly written script, not just in Season 4, but in the entire series. Wouldn't you agree, Your Honor? Oh, sorry, Your Honor.
MasterCode, begin your cross-examination.
Yes, Your Honor.
The main six travel to Manehattan to see the musical Henny in the Hills, while Rarity attends the local fashion show at Fashion Week.
Not since Cutie Mark Chronicles have we seen Manehattan. In this episode, we get to see the sprawling metropolis in all its glory and...
You maniac! You blew it up! Damn you! Damn you all to hell!
The main six tour the city as Rarity sings about her generosity.
Ponies just bursting into song in random places at the drop of a hat? Who does that?
First off, I love how the show is self-aware of its musical outbreaks. Second, this song is absolutely amazing. An upbeat, inspirational piece complimenting Rarity's generosity helping the citizens of Manehattan, which not only shows her character growth with the amount of charity she shares, but also provides setups for the events to help her in the future, such as paying the bellhop, or fixing the wheel for the taxi driver. All in all, an excellent sequence and one of my favorite parts of this whole episode.
Rarity rushes to the fashion show, but forgets her dresses.
Hey, it's time to make some crazy money. Are you ready?
Already, Rarity's generosity has paid off with the bellhop and taxi driver. And we meet the rest of the fashion talents with Prim Hemline, who I swear is a distant relative to Mish Harshwini in demeanor and facial expressions. And then we meet our main antagonist, Suri Polomer. I love this character.
Sir, it's so good to see you. Hope you realize how fortunate you are to have me as a mentor. Now get me some coffee!
Rarity offers Suri her material, which allows her to copy Rarity's style and claim it as her own.
Similar to the Flim Flam brothers or Iron Will, Suri is another antagonist who, while not completely evil, represents an antagonist archetype that exists in real life. Shifty businessmen who just want money and are willing to exploit anyone to get recognition. Thus, these characters create situations which the audience can identify, and had we just seen Suri outright evil and steal the supplies, would have immediately removed any gray morality. But no. Rarity willfully gave the swatch to Suri, feigning casual interest, which makes the betrayal all the more impactful when Rarity comes to the realization that her generosity caused her downfall, enforcing the lesson of generosity in moderation.
Rarity has the main six help her create new dresses to display at the fashion show.
Drawing another parallel from putting your hoof down, Rarity's treatment of the main six is a valid personality shift. Fluttershy becoming overly assertive was new territory for her. Riding high in Pony's newfound respect and fear of her, it wasn't until she heard her friends that she came to the realization of her aggressive demeanor. Here, this is the first time we've ever seen Rarity's generosity so severely taken advantage of. Something she spent so much time on just to be immediately stolen broke her, taking on a colder, selfish personality. If you worked on something that took great pains to create and it was stolen by someone, you would at least temporarily enter an egocentric state. Like Fluttershy, she was riding high in her success. The realization of her hurting her friends hit her when she realized that she was all alone at the fashion show. The rest of the main six, I liked how supportive they were of Rarity, willing to selflessly skip the play and help Rarity in her distraught state, which I believe Rarity goes through the natural progression of moments from betrayal to revelation.
Rarity runs off to apologize to the main six, and Rarity sings her sorrow.
This is a simple but emotional song as the weight of Rarity's selflessness bears down on her. I don't really have much to say about this one other than it is a beautiful song.
The main six forgive Rarity and reunite.
At first, I was wary about the main six so easily forgiving her, but on the second viewing, I was able to accept it. Rarity has one of the most stressful careers of all the main six, and thus her anxiety levels are always on a fragile brim, so the main six's forgiveness seems reasonable, realizing how easily she can be pushed over the edge. Applejack's line, however, was a hilarious and perfect response.
Yeah, you were pretty rotten.
Wow, Applejack.
No, Nazis. I find this adaptation highly unrealistic. And thus we come to the end where we see Rarity's earlier generosity final payoff with Suri's assistant Coco Pommel. I like this character because she's Suri's polar opposite, a kind pony who's just trying to make her way into the world not through manipulative methods, but through the quality of her work, as we saw earlier. Something an artist like myself can identify with. It's like one big networking episode. Coco presents her with the first place trophy, defying Suri, and possibly loses any chance of working in the fashion industry again. Thus, Coco's generosity is repaid with Rarity's, offering their job to produce dresses for the most well-known play in Equestria. Overall, the moral was handled fantastically, with Rarity realizing that generosity should never be sacrificed in the face of those who would betray you, and I think along with that, generosity in moderation. This episode reminds me of a scene from KOTOR 2, where you have the choice of either helping a beggar asking for money or chasing him off. Either path you're scolded by Kreia, either because you gave him money he didn't earn, thus making him a target for others, or threatening him to go away and thus his betrayal angers him to hurt others. Showing generosity can have its negative consequences. Rarity would continue to be generous, but take this experience to heart and be more wary in the future. I have not seen a more perfectly written screenplay in this series for such a long time, and this episode, just like Rarity, oozes perfection. I love Rainbow Dash in this episode as well. I think ever since Read It and Weep, she's becoming more multicultural, going from books to musicals. Curious to see how else they expand her unlikely hobbies in the future. Lastly, you have to wonder how wealthy Rarity is. I know in her Dog and Pony show she had trucks of gems, coupled with her shop success. She seems to be doing rather well for herself. Are gems standard currency in Manehattan? Just Rarity being very generous. Interesting thing to ponder. Oh, and one last thing. I guess Suri lost because she wasn't suited for success.